Coming out of the pandemic, well, really, we were still in it. But as the movie theaters were slowly starting to reopen, the first big movie that came out to hit the screens was Godzilla vs. Kong. Great movie? No. Movie I had a hell of a lot of fun with? Yeah, I did. I had an absolute blast watching that. Who knew that King Kong had his own Mjolnir? Never knew. Now we do. Giant ape with a magical frickin' axe and hammer. Fantastic. I loved it. But in all seriousness, again, the story wasn't great. There was a huge amount of logic problems with it, a lot of flaws. But again, man, especially coming out of the pandemic, where I had just been starved to see something fun on a big screen, something bombastic, and that's what it's delivered. It certainly gave me a much better experience than Godzilla King of the Monsters, something I'm sure Rob will refute here in just a few moments. Anyway, we heard a while ago that they are doing a follow-up, and of course, because it was pretty damn successful for what it was and when it came out, and now we have a release date. This comes just from the folks over at CBR. They're writing the following. According to Variety, the giant-sized second film in the Monsterverse Versus movies is set to premiere on March 15th, 2024, nearly 3 years exactly since the first film was released. Few details on the project have been revealed yet, although producers plan to return to Queensland for filming. The project also recently attached Legion star Dan Stevens, love that, in a leading role, though details about his character remain scant. I love this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to see this ridiculousness on the big screen again. Two, I love the addition of Dan Stevens because hopefully that means they're kind of shying away from what's Seven's real name again? What's the actress's name?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown, who I like very
11.
much. She's 11, that's right. Who I like very much. She's a very good actress. I hate this character. I really came to loathe the character. I thought the character was the weakest part of Godzilla vs. Kong. So hearing that they're going to bring in Dan Stevens, who I like, I've even liked him in Downton Abbey, damn it. So I like seeing this. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this. It's now tangibilized a little bit more. We've got a release date. What do you think about them doing Godzilla vs. Kong 2?
Well, first of all, they're missing, if the marketing department doesn't get this, let me give you the title right now. The first one's called Godzilla vs. Kong. Hello, Kong versus Godzilla.
Brilliant.
There's your title. I mean, how come they're not calling it right now? Look at that. Look at that. I mean, enough. Let's get some American dominance here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm Team Godzilla. But if you don't call this movie Kong versus Godzilla, I don't know what you're thinking. Because, man, how cool would that be?
Didn't we hear at some point that the next one was going to focus a little bit on Kong's son? That Kong was going to have a son or something?
I guess. It's probably going to be a strange...
If they don't call him Donkey Kong Jr., that's a problem.
College. I don't know. But no, I'm excited for this because, look, like you said, the first movie was deeply stupid. However, apparently there's a maglev system that goes from Florida to Hong Kong. Who built that? Don't know. But I did love the monster fights.
Oh, they were great.
The monster fights, the water monster fight over the aircraft carrier, I can watch that on repeat for a whole day. It's like one of those 10-hour, put the atmospheric sounds from Blade Runner on YouTube. I'll watch that fight for 10 hours because it's that good. And the Hong Kong fight's pretty good too. Not as good as the Hong Kong fight in Pacific Rim, but pretty damn good. And so I'm excited. I mean, any kaiju movie, I'll watch it. What you like kaiju movies?
I love kaiju movies. I was hoping though you were going to say Destroy All Monsters because that is to me,
that's classic too.
That's a classic. It's
but
the
there's only
penultimate.
two guys. It's two, or a guy and a girl.
Well, what we know about these are the monsters we know about, Kong and Godzilla, and it'd be interesting. I mean, they're going to bring in Godzilla's son. Do you remember? No one remembers Minya.
Minya from Godzilla's Revenge.
Yeah. No,
I just think of Godzuki. So I mean, that's
also
the anime.
So Gadzuki.
And Gadzuki.
Some of the best music ever. Oh, what do you think about the 2024 release date? Like, I was kind of assuming that it might come out a little bit earlier, considering how quickly they started talking about doing a sequel. Were you surprised to see this is going to be a 2024 thing?
I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised they weren't working on it before this. I mean, they should have had one out like next year. So I think they dropped the ball on not moving more quickly.
Speaking of which, it's not the only movie they just did some date stuff with because they announced at the same time. Speaking of movies that should have already been in production, Dune 2 has been bumped.
What?
Now, granted, only about 5 weeks.
Right.
Only been bumped about part, but still, speaking of movies that absolutely should have been shooting part 1 and part 2 back to back at the same time. So so it's go. Yeah, you're right. I'm kind of surprised they weren't already in production in this thing.
Yeah.
But I think the effects, the reason, I mean, obviously the effects work on these things is intensive, and I think that's why it's a 2-year period of time. I mean, it's hard. Like a Bond movie, they can get out in a year, but something like this, the effects work is extensive, and I'm sure they have to top themselves. And like you said, it could be a monster fest. But you know what? Godzilla King of the Monsters kind of was that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but I'd love to see a new Destroy All Monsters. But what I really want is I want the aliens from Planet X back.
Oh my God!
Come on, where's the controller?
Yeah.
Bring the controller back.
Yeah. Oh my God, Rob, you're bringing back all these memories.
I mean,
those aliens were so great.
The last time we saw them was Godzilla Final Wars.
Yeah.
You know, which had the CG American Godzilla fight the man in the suit Godzilla in Sydney, Australia, and the controller says when the computer American Godzilla gets defeated, I knew that salmon.
Which one was it?
Iguana was worthless.
Which one was it
great.
where the giant Spider-Man teams up with Godzilla to fight the Mecha Godzilla?
That's actually Japanese
I
Spider-Man.
know, yeah.
That's a whole that's a series. They made an entire Spider-Man series in the late 70s.
Also, let's not forget,
Bonkers.
Parker points out that series coming out on Apple TV, the Godzilla one, I think. Is it a Godzilla series?
That's
that they're working
right.
on?
I can't remember if it was Godzilla or if it's Kong, but they're doing a series based on the Monsterverse on Apple TV too. Still not many details on that. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We have a release date now in March of 2024 for Godzilla versus Kong 2 or Kong versus Godzilla. What do you guys think about this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Masterclass. You guys know we love Masterclass around here and have been talking about them for a while. With over 100 classes from a wide range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. And you guys know one of my favorite classes on here is Bob Iger teaching business strategy and leadership. I go back and watch that like all the time. But also I recently discovered the new class on comedy by Steve Martin, where it includes comedy screenwriting as he does this great case study for one of my all-time favorite comedies, Roxanne. I've gotten more into screenwriting by taking a class from Aaron Sorkin himself. And of course, you guys know I'm a poker guy and I love my good Canadian kid, Daniel Negreanu, and I've been watching his stuff on poker strategy. It's absolutely fantastic. So guys, we highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every single masterclass. And as a John Campea Show viewer and listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. So go to masterclass.com/Campea. That's masterclass.com/Campea for 15% off Masterclass.